Yalla, yalla, fireworks exploding in the distance, temporary tower soar. Fireworks emulating heaven till there are no stars anymore. There's no stars here, infidels. It's only humble workers on your July 5th edition, post-Independence Day for the independents out there. The Monday Locker Room, HackerHamin, yalla. We'll see if any of that came through, as I see that I only have one bar on the spectrometer. So that's really not the greatest day to start off Independence, but we're back. Hopefully you guys are having a good holiday here. I see people joining us, Ben Hamin YouTube channel, twitch.tv/Hamin Media. Yeah, man, it was a great day yesterday. An excellent hike, tied with referee sideburns in golf, which I should have beat him. But we're getting better. So hopefully you're having a good one too. And hopefully your dogs of war weren't going crazy with the fireworks and all the bullshit that was going down. So, yeah, now I see we're back at full strength on Spectrum. So we'll see, man. But yeah, shout out you guys to joining us early morning here. I think RBV was pulling some tail. And last night after his big hot dog eating competition, so he found one more competitor to get some wieners in her mouth, and he's I don't know. He texted this morning at 6:50 he was headed home, so he's probably had a late night for sure. But yeah, man, hopefully you guys had a good day yesterday, ate and drank, and were merry with friends and family. It's crazy weather around here. It's still like hoodie in July, man, but today's supposed to get right back up to 86, 80, 90, whatever the frig it's supposed to be, man. But we're having a good time. Pain in the ass weekend for me, man. All of a sudden, the wives started screaming and going crazy because one of the hot water heaters in the missile silo blew. So that was a great way to spend our Saturday. Get the rugs out, all of the Persian rugs we had, get them outside in the sun and all that kind of shit, man. Just classic living life nightmare scenario, dude. So that's just how we do it. But, what are you going to do? So that'll be a nice bill this week. $1,500 probably. So prowrestlingtees.com/Ben Hamin and wherever else fine t-shirts are sold. So we can keep the heat on here, but we're going to put all the heat on here. Hopefully get in, get out. Maybe a quick show today. The wives want to go to breakfast, and I'm really not feeling wrestling for the full day yet myself either. And it's going to be another busy week here, Hamin Media Group and Russo brand. So we just got to stick to it, man. Stay on the road. Hopefully everything for you guys is going to be chill. Maybe you got some time off. I know July is a big vacation month. I saw our own Matt Schaffer's in the chat room right now. Appreciate him. And he's going to be going on a nice trip. He's going to be with us this week and then next week taking off with some friends. So I'm happy for him. As much great effort as he puts in here at HMG every day on Stevie Ray TV. He just got a bunch of episodes done there and everything he's doing, the SMB podcast, and then light the fuse, man. He's indispensable when it comes to being producer of the year. That's what the kid does. So hopefully he has a good time to unwind and chill and let go of production schedules. It's a hard thing to do, especially after you start being operant conditioned, man. You need another giant special, Hope Spot brand. America full of giants. I agree, actually. I got a big guest lined up 8 days from now. And then when is it? The 31st? No, the 1st of August, I'm doing a show up north in Messina, New York. And a fella just saw a Bigfoot up there, or Sasquatch reported crossing. So I'm going to meet up with him and talk. He's going to show me where the Sasquatch crossed up by Messina, New York. Should be pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, giants are absolutely my favorite. That and Mandela Effect, I'd probably say are my number 1 and 2, favorite conspiracy theories. But I could definitely look at all that evidence, man. I really want to get to somebody from the Smithsonian and have them on to say, what are you really doing pushing all this Darwinism, which I'm fine with, but leaving out, or I mean, the people of Sardinia, where there's supposedly a lot of giants that were dug up, the church just smashed their skulls and their bones. It's crazy. It's crazy. 9 days from tonight. Yeah, shout out 9 days. I wish I was going on vacation, but What are you going to do, man? So hopefully everybody's having a good one out there. I see our own, the vet. He's going to be taking over for me on NXT. I appreciate that, vet. I've just got so much to do with Russo brand that legit at this point I could not sleep all week and work around the clock and probably still not have enough of me to go around. So just very thankful, for the HMG staff and listeners and all the producers who can jump in the trenches and then pull a shift, man. Those guys really alleviate a lot of extra stress and free me up for time so I can focus on getting the other stuff built out to make a better platform for you guys, and we can keep expanding together and new opportunities and new projects and new shows. So yeah, man, I just want to acknowledge, see.
And I am the head of the table, the tribal chief.
We all know that, but you don't get to be the head of the table, the tribal chief, without a strong tribe. So tribe here is kicking ass, man, and I just want to acknowledge everybody that way. So, but let's rip through these headlines so we can get in and get out. It might even be just a half-hour locker room day. I'm fine with that as RBV gets his pole waxed or whatever he's doing. Hopefully you guys watched along for the competition. He told me he took the over on 73.5 wieners yesterday. I think the record is 76 in the hot dog eating competition. Did they break that? Does anybody know? Did he break 73.5 wieners in his mouth? I mean, that's what we're here for. Oh, Minga. All right. What else is going on today, you guys? Did you guys see that Raw might be going back to 2 hours? I think that could be one of the smartest decisions in history of WWE. I think they should really end it and start over again, especially if they sell it to NBC or USA, whatever they're going to do. He broke his old record of 73.5, 8 and 76. All right, well then RBV won his bet. He had over 73.5. So that's cool, man. But yeah, so shit, I just lost what I was talking about. The big wiener talk threw me off. Sing. Oh, 2 hour Raw. But yeah, I mean, that third hour and just what it does to the rest of the show of having to extend matches, and do filler segments where nothing is killer. And it's just like, oh, what are we watching for to get to one segment? We've got all this bullshit in between. See, internet's being fucky. This is awesome. Let me know if I'm Mr. Roboto. All right. But I think that's going to do a lot. I mean, is the advertising revenue really worth it if nobody's watching your show is what it comes down to. Would you rather have 3 million people and charge X amount, or would you have 1 million people and charge half of that because you can't generate the numbers? So weird. Star Wars, Robo Star Wars, boop beep bop boop. Yeah, I want to answer your question here. But Ben, what did you think for the trailer for the Saints of Newark? I absolutely love it. It almost makes me a little upset because I want it to be a complete series, and I know it's just going to be an awesome movie. It looks great. I watched some breakdowns of it, the scene by scene and who's in it, and some real diehard Sopranos fans. I think it's going to be phenomenal. I'm excited for it. I just finished for my 55th time through Sopranos last night, the final scene and all that. So I had a really good second interview. When was that? Friday? No. Thursday, maybe? For the Sopranos Superfan competition. Spoke with their producer, Andy. Very nice guy. Feel like I cut a good promo. He liked it, taped it, said it was very well said, and I hope that I get chosen in the final round, to hang with Michael Imperioli and Steve Shrippa for a little bit even. So yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Be a huge honor, and just to make it this far, just on a quick I'll enter and be chosen and make it to the finals. We'll see. So hopefully that opens a door for who knows what opportunities down the road, or no opportunities. And I just get to kind of live a little pipe dream out. Very, very cool, man. The FBI could have warned me about the water heater. I know they were in there. They swapped out the drills and the lights and shit like that. The Black & Decker. And so what are you going to do, man? That's what they try and do. That was a good reference, though, Lenny Lilac points. Dogs of War doing better. Thank you for asking. Yeah, man, Gracie's definitely picked up. She has good and bad days, but compared to how it was 2-3 weeks ago, definitely a big improvement. So that makes that's had us sleeping a little bit better too. Mandeer's in the house too. He just sent me the brand new Master Shoot Theater, dude, dying laughing. Just so talented, and things I forget about after the improv is done that go out of my head, and then he animates them, and when it's the ones I forgot about fully that make me laugh the hardest. So just really great stuff, man, this week. Again, a lot of fun as we it's not I say behind by any means, because animation takes forever, but the animated one comes out about a week or two after the regular, version comes out, and they're just so damn awesome, man. So I appreciate Mandeer and everybody kicking ass, man, to make that extra content for you guys, especially if you're Patreon subscribers. I'm putting it out on Hamin Media Group Patreon. It's on Russo brand too, or excuse me, Russo TWC. So just great work, guys. Oh, man. Here's great work. The headlines. Unless there's anything else I forgot between the fucking explosion of the hot water heater shit in the bed and yada, yada. We took a nice hike yesterday. It was good. Lana, she took a hike. Lana details her release in a text from Vince McMahon. Yeah, me. Oh, yeah. Last night, pal, I cut a goddamn great cameo for James Acosta. Yeah, it was a good time, man. I got to do a cameo as Vince last night. Suit jacket and no pants on was a lot of fun, man. A lot of fun getting into those cameos. Cameo.com/BenHamin if you want a custom Vince promo, or HackerHamin to ruin somebody's Independence Day, or tell your wife that you're leaving her or whatever. I'm happy to do it. Lana details a release in a text from Vince McMahon. CJ Perry, formerly known as Lana, was on the latest episode of Talk is Jericho. Wow. To Catch a Predator, Chris Hansen wanted on arrest warrant. That's hardcore. For what? Perry was part of a group of releases that came in early June that included Braun Strowman and Aleister Black. Perry revealed her reaction to finding out about a release soon after renting a house in St. Petersburg. I rented it for a month. 2 weeks in, I get a call from John Laurinaitis. Perry recalled. Crazy thing is, I thought he was calling me about something completely different. I can't tell you yet what the show is, but I offered to do another television show. And so they went through the whole process with WWE and they approved it. And so I thought he was calling me about more of those details, because that's what we were all discussing the day before. He says, I'm calling you about your 90 days. I'm like, wait, what? I couldn't even understand. He's like, I'm calling you about your 90 days. You're getting released. And I was literally standing right next to my pool. My heart dropped. At the same time, I felt really relieved, which is really weird because I did not expect to feel relieved. It felt like a weight was lifted off my shoulder. Japanese. And I couldn't breathe. If somebody would have told me that that would have happened, I would have been like, no way. I love my job. I love the people that I work with. Yeah, things are shitty at times, but that's why it's a job. She continued as she revealed more of her conversation with John Laurinaitis. She explained that why she's glad Laurinaitis made the call as opposed to the former head of talent relations, Mark Carano. He's like, stay in touch. You've worked your ass off, Perry revealed. I go, is there anything that I did wrong? He's like, nope, you worked your ass off. You're improved tremendously in the ring. Thanks for working hard. Stay close. I kind of chuckled to myself because I'm glad it wasn't Mark Carano that called me, because I just see Johnny as this role. Mark kind of becomes homies a little bit more, and Ace is just so corporate. And he was like, no budget cuts. And I said, okay, thank you for everything. And that was that. No budget cuts. Not no budget cuts. No budget cuts. Perry admitted that she needed to leave her house to collect herself. She reveals what type of clause she wants in her next wrestling contract. I was in the middle of texting Mandy Rose, Perry stated. We were texting each other about random things, and I'm just like, I just got released. She was the first person I told. She's like, wait, what? And I'm like, yeah, they literally just released me. I called Natty immediately. I couldn't even talk to Miro yet. Natty, same reaction. Wait, what? It just sucked. But at the same time, I felt relieved in the sense I've been waiting for this call. And that's the part I don't like about the environment. Whatever wrestling contract I have next, if I stay in wrestling, which I hope I do, I want a no cut clause, because that was the worst, living in the state of fear of you don't know when their future endeavors are going to come. Welcome to the bubble, baby. Perry was in the tag team with Naomi before getting released, tag team of Team Glow Crotch. She revealed what she and Naomi were promised before the releases came. I had just made gear, beautiful neon glow in the dark gear, over $4,000 it cost by the people that sew for all the top singers. We had all these new outfits. We had bought outfits that I would probably wear in real life, but we have glow in the dark. Of course, I'm devastated. We're promised to go into a program with Natty and Tamina. Me and Naomi were to go in the program with them, go after the titles, and we were supposed to be possibly champions, which all that stuff I take with a grain of salt. I was very lucky that I was booked till the day I got fired. Perry said she got a text from Vince McMahon. Yeah, me. I'll text her. After the news of the releases, she discussed what she'd like to change to see about the process. She said, I got a text. I definitely got emotional about it because it was a slight goodbye for me. He thanked me for my incredible work ethic and for my unrelenting desire to be the best that I could and all the contributions I gave to WWE. So that meant a lot to me. I thanked him for everything he's taught me because I learned so much. Man, I've learned this goes on again. She wants to hug Vince and all this shit, bro. funny stuff. Not funny when somebody loses their job, but just this bubble, man. I don't know. Like, everything is, thank you. Oh, you're released. Thanks for your great work ethic, even though it is not really appreciated. Like, you're going to, again, all the investment, all the shit, that they say that she's improving and training with Natty, but behind the scenes, deep down, all of those social media infractions, all those TikToks, all the things, when they wanted her to be Rocky IV, the wife of Drago, and they're out there fucking dancing to hip hop in their condo, so that's and whether they realize it or not, they probably don't, because they're so deep in the wrestling bubble, man. That's just how it goes. Yeah, whatever. Wrestle Stink headlines. Wesley Blake discusses pre-Jackson Riker pitch for the Forgotten Sons on our episode of the Stink. Weston Blake, formerly known as Wesley Blake. After me and Buddy split, I was trying to do single stuff, trying to get traction, and trying to get on TV to become an asset at NXT in any way I can. Blake recalled the end of 2016, we had an Australian tour that was about 10 days. And once we got on the plane, I was there. I was told that, listen, once we get back to the States, we have to find a new gimmick, or we're going to have to, because we're going to have someone, we're about to start debuting, someone that's going to be similar to your gimmick, which was Velveteen Dream. So I was, okay. So the first thing that came to my head when he told me I needed to change my gimmick was Steve Macklin. So when we get back to the States, the very first phone call I made was to Steve and ask him, hey, I really think we can start tagging, because we've had a good bond with each other. We've always had a real close brotherhood, friendship type thing. Not a lot of people know this, but he's the godfather to my children. He said he wanted me to change gimmicks. My God, man, these fucking copy things they put in here are just forever. Get the fuck to it, Hausman. They were pitching Sons of Anarchy type vibe, but a brotherhood, which you originally pitched as Prisoners of Society. Oh, that's what you pitched. This is the brilliant thing you're pitching, another fucking biker angle, another welfare version of Aces and Eight Balls. Like, how many DOA fucking, and even now, dude, when Inner Circle comes out trying to look like a biker gang with no motorcycles, there's nothing more stupid in wrestling than that, as far as I'm concerned. I couldn't stand Aces and Eights, even when it was on time, when Sons of Anarchy was a fucking top show. Like, there was a couple weeks, but then just all those things, NWO, they always spin out because everybody wants to be in it, and it just looks stupid with a bunch of guys with fucking leather cuts on, or whatever you want to call them, vests, acting like a biker gang, and they're not bikers. Maybe these guys ride, but 9 times out of 10, these guys in wrestling, guys come out looking like a biker gang, and it's in every single indie fed too. In Immortal, there's Ataxia. There was another one at another fed I was just at. It was just like, it's the worst. Like if you're one of your ideas, like that gimmick is terrible. I've heard this pitched 100 times, the biker gang thing. And you know what the number one worst thing I hear from usually a lot of baby faces who want to turn heel, think they can do it. They go fucking, you know what I really want to do? Have you ever seen the movie American Psycho? Oh, bro. If I had a fucking $5 for every time I fucking heard that, I never have to work again from fucking good looking baby faces who want to turn heel. For some reason, watch American Psycho and they think they were so fucking like, this is it. This is who I'm gonna be, dude. That if you think you're gonna do American Psycho, just stop right now if you're a worker. I've heard that so much, but Aces and Eight Balls and whatever. I'll tell you how bad Sons of Anarchy wasn't getting over because the spinoff series didn't get over. So what do you expect wrestling to do? I thought that spinoff series was sucking. I watched like the first 5 episodes and it was not good compared to Sons. All right. Speaking of real gangster, though, Conan discusses his experience backstage at AEW Dynamite. He was on last week, took a fucking power bomb from FTR after confronting and fucking making Tully Blanchard look like shit, man. You like Mayans better than fucking Sons of Anarchy? I disagree, bro. Dude, like the first 5 episodes are trash. It's just like, what are you doing? And dude, does anybody even talk about Mayans? The fucking show Mayans? I've never seen any buzz about it. Not like when Sons of Anarchy was on top. I think it's one of the worst spin, and the actors in it are all great. They got the guy who looks like Roman. They got fucking Edward James Olmos. Can't put it together, bro. It's not good. Not compared to the original series. All right. It was one of the greatest moments it was one of the greatest experiences of my career because everybody's very, very happy. Everybody's very helpful and everybody's very professional. There's one room in there, Don Callis, Omega, and the Bucks. They're all in there and they're playing basketball games. They're watching NBA. It's a very fun atmosphere. And I thought to myself, wow, I wish I would have grown up in this type of atmosphere. And everybody's happy. I saw Vicky. I haven't seen her in 15 years. I hadn't seen Jerry Lynn in 15 years. I hadn't seen Big Show in like 15 years. Legit, they're very happy. It's really good. I'm not trying to get a job or anything like that. Okay. It's a really cool vibe. Even after the show, they have food for everyone in this big conference room. You can take the food to your room. You can eat it right there. And then they have this other little lounge where everyone is just listening to music. Here's a fucking tip. How about everybody watches the fucking show so they know where they're going on so they could fit in and see, hey, maybe I could have business here too. But nah, fuck it. NBA's on and we're having a Katy Perry party in the other room, you guys. Come on over and dance. We're all going to TikTok together. Saturday night last week was Conan's 3rd appearance on the program. Like I said, he bitched out Tully Blanchard. Well, I was talking to Feeney in chat. I go, Feeney, fucking, they're going to have to send Conan because the numbers were up when Conan was back on. It was a great segment, but they've been dancing around. So if I was Conan, I'd take fucking full responsibility for my numbers, those numbers going up 30%, and say it was all him. But he had a great segment. But I said, Impact's going to need him, Feeney, to go over and cut a promo. They had 69,000 people tune in last week, bro. I've never heard of a show being on TV with that little, man. Yeah, I just missed out on this great atmosphere by 15 years because of that. When we're like, if you were at OVW and you're backstage and you're not watching the monitor during the show, great way to get heat. That's a beautiful way to show that you don't give a fuck about what's going on. Yeah, Ben, don't try to work a worker. Yeah, dude, when anybody says I'm not trying to get a job while you're on TV and shit, I just came for the fun of it to be on TV. I'm not trying to get a job. Big J in the chat says, been one of my thoughts on Jim Cornette. We say a lot of the same things. I enjoy listening to his sound bites. I think he's a sad person. I think the way he's cut off his friends in 50 years, or how vindictive he has to be to Russo, shows that he's a sad man, you know. Am I on Roboto? Oh, Jesus Christ, with all this, man. I don't know what the fuck, dude. If it ain't one thing, it's a motherfucking another. I'm telling you, words to my sister and my granny and my mother. But yeah, when it comes to Cornette, it's very much like listening to Rip Rogers. So, you know, I respect and agree with a lot of what he says, you know, but the way he goes about it just to get, you know, try and get heat or what have you. Like sometimes good, like when he went in on Miro and them for being whatever, I think that changed Miro. And that, like, that's what a real ass chewing and making you feel like a goof in the locker room when you think you're over. That's where he's great. And his booking's good, and he knows how to punch up ideas, and he knows how to get heat, and he knows how to make towns. When it comes to wrestling, I think he's brilliant. But when it comes to being a man and a human, I think he's a sad dude, you know, and I don't know, man. I don't know him. I've never worked with him, unfortunately. I would like to, but like I said, getting trained by Rip is pretty much just getting the same thing trained by him. Ty Conti, on which SmackDown star motivated her during her WWE tryout? She says, oh my God, with these goddamn long ass fucking stories, bro. I'm going to stop going to Wrestle Stink. Oh my dude, legit, it's fucking 15 paragraphs long. Oh, it was Bailey. Bailey was screaming in her face, motivating her. She was shy, and Bailey was trying to pull a performance out of her.
Ding dong.
Wow, what a brilliant story that is. Ty Conti, is she hurt at AEW? I'm not sure. She kind of had a little run there after Serena had to get her knee scoped. You know, and they put her in there. I like that Ty Conti's got all that Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I like that she uses it. She's not the worst social media offender. She's doing all the beach poses, being sexy, and that's, you know, the Brazilian stuff as well, man. So I get that. She can go, but is she going to be a sex kitten, or is she going to be a badass? You know, I guess is what it comes down to. John Hartnett disagrees, says she's rotten. I agree when they go in to get their shit in, but there's plenty of believability that we could make her as a shooter, and she could improve. You know, I think a great amount. But are you going to be sex appeal, or are you going to actually act like you're going to apply your martial art and look like you want to win the title? You know. Some idiots saying to move after Wade Keller. Well, if you want to get internet fucking buzz, I guess so. JJ Dillon recalls Vince McMahon expecting to go to prison in the 90s. Wow. Let's see how long this one is. WWE Hall of Famer and former manager JJ Dillon was on an episode of JBL and Briscoe's show. During the interview, Dillon recalled the time he spent with Pat Patterson discussing his knowledge from the business. We go over to Vince's house and meet. It was a great learning experience. I've got so much respect for Pat and all he's done. Pat had an innate ability to understand what Vince liked and didn't like. There are certainly things Vince didn't like, so you learned what he didn't like, and the things he did like, you'd feed him by the shovelfuls. And the things you might have thought had good potential, it was never brought up because Vince didn't like it, and he'd shut it down, shut the conversation down. I don't want to say we manipulated Vince. We just knew what he liked, and we gave it to him as many different ways as possible. No gay innuendo there. We were smart enough to know, well, maybe this is something we like personally, but we know Vince doesn't, so don't fight the battle because you're not going to win. And you know he's not going to like it no matter how good you think it is. I think that's terrible. I think that's absolutely horrible. So now we're booking things that we know we're not booking things that we know will be good, be a ticket draw, a ticket sale, get a bunch of people over, do good business. We're just not pitching things because we know Vince won't like it. What a fucking terrible way to create. This is that's a terrible way to create, in my opinion. In the past, Dylan said he believes a lot of WWE's success was due to Pat Patterson. Yeah. Vince was convinced that when the government invests that much into going after somebody, they're really going to get their pound of flesh. He was convinced that they were going to get something and that he was going to do some time. He really was. This is talking about the steroid trial in the early 90s. JBL then asked Dylan about him bringing Jeff Jarrett to the company. Well, I guess that's it. So we don't want to hear about Jeff Jarrett, not really. But yeah, man, Vince was ready to get locked up. So, you know, I agree. Once the government goes at somebody and spends that amount of money on it, somebody's got to fucking pay. You know, everybody's got a price for the $1 million man. I'm glad to see JJ Dillon doing stuff because I had heard through the grapevine that he's starting to go a little bit senile or has like all dementia, you know, a little bit. So I'm glad to see him doing that. I saw he's doing another show too. So hopefully it keeps his mind sharp and his memories, you know, might not be in the present tense, but maybe he can look back in the past. So I'm hoping everything is good. With JJ Dillon, had a couple good interviews with him throughout my career. I don't know. It was very excellent to me in interviews. So I don't want to say anything bad by any means. Just wasn't my cup of tea as a manager, you know. No Stevie on Friday, no Billy Ray Valentine today. Well, Stevie was in Florida doing a bunch of family stuff, and Billy Ray Valentine, BRV. Well, you got BRB, it's RBV. So Billy Ray Valentine usually isn't on the Monday Locker Room, but RBV supposedly was trying to get laid last night, and that was more important. So let him know that you missed him. Tucker reveals why Vince McMahon doesn't think tag team wrestling can draw any money. Jesus Christ. Tucker discussed that he was going to put over the Barbecue Boys. I talked about that last week. I thought that was a good fucking gimmick. Him and Otis as barbecue dudes, and people could just go out there and hang with them. They didn't even need to wrestle, really. You know, that shit could have been phenomenal, dude. Like a Pit Masters type thing. I think that fucking would have been hilarious. We were both in catering together. Tucker recalls in basketball and t-shirts thinking, whatever, dude. It's 6:40 at this point. The show's supposed to start at 7. Dark match at 6:45. I got a text from one of the writers. He was in Gorilla. He said, hey, they're looking for you guys in Gorilla. I was just like, all right, whatever. I just ate. We had just ate. So we're walking down the hallway. We walked to Gorilla, and the B team is in their gear. And they're like, hey, we need you guys. We're doing the dark match. I look at Otis. I look at me. One of the referees are like, you need to get your gear on. I'm like, it's 6:40, dude. I can't even get my gear on in 20 minutes. SmackDown starts at 7. It goes live. It's live on television. He has to start at 7 o'clock. We can't get our gear on and wrestle a dark match. So I'm having this conversation. All of a sudden, B Team's music hits and they go out. So we're standing in the Gorilla, and I'm still looking around like they're like, okay, heavy machinery, get ready. You guys are next. I'm like, we're in our basketball stuff. What are you talking about? No. So I can't remember exactly what happened because we're having a discussion like that for another 30 seconds or something. And of course, there's like another department in charge of music, and they have our cues and stuff. I don't know what happened in our time frame, but our music hits. I look at Otis. He looks at me. Are we actually doing this? I guess. I pull my cell phone out of my pocket, throw it on the floor in Gorilla. He takes his can of dip out of his pocket, hands to whoever's standing there like that. And we go out in basketball shorts and t-shirts for the dark match. We go down. I think we take our shirts off or whatever, and we do it. Tucker revealed that the match wasn't called entirely on the fly, as the two teams hadn't had time to discuss the match prior to getting out there. While he chuckles about it now, Tucker was furious at the time that it was allowed to happen and believes it was fortunate no one ended up getting hurt. Yeah, dude. I mean, they think this shit's fucking cute or funny, but like that's the reality of how you get tested. They know that they will possibly not tell you. So you have no time to get in your gear. So you're like, oh, they're going to freak out. Or are they just going to go out there and do this dark match in their street clothes? because no one gives a shit. However, Chef and Fandangle has it right here. Should already have your gear on, bro. It should be ready to go. At 5:30, they should have been dressed. Not walking around fucking off on their phone with chew in their mouth. And that's probably why they got tested. Like, oh, those guys don't want to be ready by 5:30. Okay. All right. They're in the dark match tomorrow at 6:45. When are you going to tell them? 6:40. Okay. Believe me, dude. Even now, the fact that he might know it, but he didn't say it in this, that was a test from the jump. That was an absolute test from the jump. And I can go back to OVW when Spears and what's his name? Mike Cruel were like on top. They were like the top guys that were going up there to get like dark matches and stuff from OVW who were signed talent. And they were up there and they were messing around. They didn't have their gear ready to go, and they got an opportunity to get in the ring, and they're all just standing there in like their suit stuff. Not even, I mean, you should have your shit underneath your fucking suit, I guess is what it comes on to. And they just looked terrible. I remember when they came back from that and the word spread like that they got made into an example of not being ready and all that kind of shit. And these were the top guys from OVW who thought they were over. Dude, that was like a sticky situation. And we all fucking learned from that of how they were getting tested. So, but yeah, dude, you got to be ready because they're gonna mess with you, especially if you're up there just fucking around thinking you're over. Like that first year, you might want to show up in your fucking gear, but then they'll call you Mark and not use you. Speaking of showing up in your gear, Nikki Cross discusses the idea behind her new superhero character. The idea started from right to form from the Royal Rumble. For me, I've always taken a lot of inspiration, a lot of comfort, a lot of escapism from superhero movies, superhero television shows in Scotland as a little girl. I would always watch X-Men cartoons, Spider-Man cartoons. For me, I really wanted to come up with something that was really inspirational to little girls and boys and something with a very positive message. To me, the whole message is that I don't have superpowers. I don't have super speed. I don't have super strength, and I can't fly, unfortunately. But it's so you don't need superpowers to be a superhero. That could be one of the stupidest things I've ever heard. The entire of being a superhero and not a normal person is the fact that you do have one of those things. You do have superpowers, speed, strength, or the ability to fly. And there's also, with every superhero origin story, a fucking inciting incident. Did we have any inciting incident at whatever? Nope. She just shows up one day in a stupid mask looking like the Hamburglar special needs daughter. And fucking there's no rub or shine from Hurricane Helms or Mighty Molly. And then we try and do superhero in training reboot with AASH. Almost a superhero, Ash, which doesn't spell anything. Was it supposed to reference her ass because of how tight her fucking gear is or whatever, dude? Absolutely foolish, in my opinion, in a test. And I think I'd like to think she's a smart enough worker after her husband just got fired, a guy who I thought was really good too, because he looks like me and works like me. I like that dude, Damo or whatever he's going by now. But I think she knew that the writing was on the wall that she was going to get fired. And she came up with this to here's the new thing to get over the next hump. Here's what's smart. If she did this, she's a very smart worker. And the fact that we know post WrestleMania is always a bloodbath. These 2 months afterwards, if you switch into a new gimmick, that means they have to do a new storyline and start rolling it out. And the chances of you getting clipped are less because they're going to look stupid for putting somebody on TV. Not that they won't do this. And then boom, they're gone just like that. So she might be playing ignorant and smiling, but she could be the most conniving worker ever, knowing that she needed to come up with something because the writing was on the wall for her. So I'm not sure on that. You know what I mean? but they haven't launched this properly at all. And a superhero with no superpowers except for being nice to people is asinine. When we can do all the faking stuff, we should have, if she has no superpowers, then that's up to Mighty Molly and Hurricane to teach her how to fly, where they jump into a scene and it looks like they're landing from flying or what have you, you know? Things like this that are thought out and not executed properly when you only get one chance to make a first impression is one of the toughest pills for me to swallow in wrestling, bro. You know, I'm not saying she can't get it over. She's cute and a baby face and people like her, but we're not doing any of the shit right out of the gate, you know? So, and we're putting her with a top heel just because they used to be friends, Nikki and fucking Alexa. And it's just, I don't know, it's fucking beating a dead horse. WWE reportedly expressing interest in top Impact star. Appears that they want Moose, the Moose on the Moose show. And I'll tell you, Moose said he's going to re-sign with Impact. Bro, they had 69,000 fucking people this week. Moose, get the fuck out of there. You know, I like Impact. I like a lot of the guys on the roster and girls, and then fucking even the management. You know, there's a lot of good stuff that goes on there storyline wise. And I heard Slammiversary sold out. So it's weird to me how you're going to be able to sell out a pay-per-view, but only have 69,000 people watching your show. But Moose has put on unbelievable muscle mass. Not that he already wasn't jacked. I mean, he's shredded. He's so lean and just working super hard. That's a guy that you can walk in and have him face a Bobby Lashley right out of the gate, and fucking it's going to be super believable. John Hartnett said the fucker threw him off a steel cage. Well, I'm not much you're going to be able to do about that. The guy's 6'8", D1 fucking defenseman, and he's massive. I managed him, and he turned on me and speared the shit out of me and powerbombed referee sideburns. That's just what I guess this guy does. So if you're working with Moose, don't trust him because he's going to turn on you and fuck you up, I guess, is if you can learn from John and I. That's the thing to do. I didn't have the story up here, but I had heard rumors that Killer Cross is under the fucking heater microscope because he had it out with Adam Cole and those guys backstage. We've been talking about this on Next Level Review. And, you know, the fact that, yeah, John, we got to get him back. We're going to get paid back big time. But you know, on Next Level Review that I had seen the promos with Gargano and Cole and like talking shit to Cross in a very covert but shooty way. Maybe only wrestlers watching will be like, that's interesting. But I heard it came to a head backstage, which is what a guy like Shawn Michaels and them would want. They want a death by 1,000 cuts. They want to like, you know, like take small jabs at Cross where he has to take it and play the politics game until he gets to the point in his own mind of like, fuck this, fuck these little kids. I'm not going to play this bullshit. I'm a man. I'll whoop their fucking ass. And that's what they want. They want you to break and to show that in the locker room because then the heat will be on you that you didn't play the game the right way. And is it all true that Cross could fucking destroy all of them? Yeah, no problems. But this is the psychological tune-up that Michaels is great at, and I'm sure he's passing that along to Gargano, Cole. I don't think Ciampa would be doing that, you know what I mean, as much. I'd like to think not, but it's pro wrestling. It's fuck your buddy at the end of the day, you know. So we'll see what happens if it'll just them leaving or if Cole gets called up too, but or you know, or if they try and bury Cross out of the gate to make him humble, you know. Is fucked up, dude. Just to keep testing guys. They care more about that and what goes on behind the scenes to push a guy to the edge to get him to fucking break than it is to be like, here's a guy who's going to draw money for all of us and bring him into the house. Do you think Gargano and Cole on a poster are going to draw more than Cross? I don't. And they know that. So they get it to show that he's fragile, or that that pressure can get to anybody when he's just trying to step up and be a man, like, and say, you got something to fucking say to me, say it. Let's go, motherfucker. You want to go out there? And as soon as you do that, they got you. They fucking, their little needling and all that shit is fucking, that's the politics of wrestling. And especially when you're a small guy and you got to be a conniving little motherfucker who wants to be in the main event. That's Shawn Michaels 101, bro. 101. And who's learning to either those two sit under every day? You know it's happening. Big J's asking, what are my thoughts on Ryback's not verified on Twitter? Yeah, that's an interesting thing, in the fact of, you know, I like Ryback. A lot of people might talk shit, but he's always been cool to me. I big respect for him, even back in OVW, of like, as a businessman and understanding branding and things along those lines. So it's weird that Twitter, you know, it gets a little bit like, come on, bro, of like, where he's not begging, but he's like, you know, putting it out there, and he has to, because they took his check mark away. I'm like, why? This guy's fucking a star, and why won't it come back? You know, like, not that I've got one or anything, or it's like anything I need, but for a guy like him, you know, did WWE work with Twitter to say, don't ever verify this guy and whatnot? Is Twitter in on blacklisting? Very, very strange. But his response as a worker to it probably could have been a little bit better, you know. So I think he definitely should be verified, for whatever that's worth. I mean, it's all a bunch of bullshit anyway. Status to have a little blue check next to your name, like it fucking means something. But you know, the way he's dealt with it in trying to out Twitter doesn't seem to have worked for him either. So that's that. But hopefully he's doing well. You know, I think the guy should really say frig wrestling and push a lot more into pro bodybuilding and supplements. He's got all that stuff anyway, and he's been working all that circuit for a long time. So I'm not saying anything he doesn't know. Mojo Rawley, you might have heard of him, may not. Comments on if he's returning to pro wrestling. Dean Hutari. He's in Snake Eyes, G.I. Joe Origins film. That's pretty cool. He says, after WWE, the thing that I'm excited most about is I can do everything now. When you're under contract with WWE, that's your gig. You can't really operate outside the company. Now I can do everything. So I don't have to be known as just one thing. I can do it all. I can focus on the stock market and trading, because that's where my background is in. Why the fuck couldn't you focus on the stock market while you're at WWE backstage waiting to do a dark match with Otis and Tucky? You could have. I don't think they ban you from doing stock market. I even started a company with a couple of my buddies, the Paragon Talent Group, who is actually here to assist people with what I'm going through right now. A lot of guys who leave pro wrestling and don't know what's next, especially leaving the WWE. They don't know what to do and how to represent themselves. They come from a wrestling bubble, and that's it. Ooh, I like this. So we're here to assist people with that transition. Interesting. Definitely going to get more into the acting space. I'll return to wrestling world, not immediately. We're not going to hype that one up pretty good. Right now, we're going to take this time and enjoy this freedom and do a little bit of everything. You better believe when I come back to wrestling, it's going to be hyped up and a big surprise for everybody. Let's not get out of hand, Mojo. I mean, you're going to paint your face like broken glass again, and that's supposed to be what we're doing. But the guy has a ton of personality and a ton of energy. You know, everybody knew a hyperactive little kid like that grew up into being a hyperactive bro like that. And I'm sure he wanted to do his best. It's unfortunate that the Gronk stuff never got him over. They never did that shit, whatever. Who is he in the movie? Captain Gridiron? I'm not sure who he is in that, but I'm a big G.I. Joe mark, so it'll be interesting. A lot of people like Snake Eyes. I'm a Storm Shadow guy, so we'll see how that goes. But last month, I don't know if it's on, if they continued it all or not, but G.I. Joe on Hasbro YouTube nonstop feed. This popped me. Former WWE superstar Arian Andrew Cameron. Oh, okay, that's who it is. Heaped praise on Mickey James for the way she handled her recent WWE release. The reason Mickey resonates the most with me is because the way she put the stuff out on social media, how she got her stuff delivered in a trash bag and just kind of creating a lane for other talents. They can say a bunch of shit and not get in trouble. I think she's making a segue in a way that hasn't been made before. Let's see. Hausman asked if she got her stuff sent in a trash bag before following her 2016 release. She said, no, because I'm such a fucking brat that I had already taken all my stuff out beforehand. Andrew recalled. I was so mad. I remember talking to Mark Carano and packing up my shit beforehand. I did that even before they sent me back to NXT. Wow. I mean, Cameron, who even remembers what was going on with Cameron back in the Funkasaurus fucking time or whatever that was, dude. Like, I think the reason that she's putting Mickey James out there, I'm not on blast, but putting her over is because she may already be signed to do the NWA Empower. This is how we politic in wrestling of like, I'll put them over and the story will get out and then it'll get back to her and we'll have good faith. And then maybe they'll count me. They'll count me in for that next thing. What has, and maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm just ignorant to it. What has Cameron done in the last 5 years in this business? And here we are, because she was a backup dancer who went to the E, this is even a story. It's just like brutal. Like the vet said, so slow news day. But we're at our final story right here, you guys. This was Big J. Just want to say, regardless, well, this isn't the story, but it could be. Just want to say, regardless if Stevie or RBV joined you, still enjoy listening to my knowledge, bro. Thank you. I mean, bro, being the boss. When guys need a day off or what have you, I just sit here and do what I got to do, man. I hope it's not too boring. Just listen to one man's opinion. I'm sure, I'd rather have a dialogue and conversation too, but sometimes that's the way it goes. And it's a holiday weekend, so I'm not going to ask anybody to do anything above and beyond, man. Everybody around here works for very little of what I can afford to offer them, and they bust their ass for the love of you guys, for the love of community, for the love of trying to support the industry and build something together, and we have. So, if it's me solo, apologies. It's not the normal rundown, but thanks for listening. But Bill Apter, you might have heard of him, responds to Pat McAfee telling him to fuck off. What? Pat McAfee has won many people over since he began working color commentary for SmackDown, but he has faced some criticism. I popped huge on Friday when he was sitting on Cole. That whatever they're doing to rib Cole constantly, let's do more of that. Pro wrestling journalist Bill Apter, a great friend of HMG and Big Ray, mentioned on Twitter that he didn't care for McAfee's announce table dancing during Shinsuke's entrance a couple of weeks ago, to which McAfee responded quite negatively, telling him to fuck off on Twitter. Speaking with WrestleLink, Stink Hausman, Apter walked through his mindset that night. That night, I was sitting there in my recliner. I had the volume up very high. I like he and Michael Cole together, Apter said. McAfee's terrific. I tweeted that in the past, but did I ever get a tweet back from him? With all due respect, thank you, Bill. No. Here, it just annoyed me. It got to the peak to where one time I said, I can't listen to this. I don't think he'd know who I was. Then for him to come back and say, with all due respect, F off, I get it. I'm sorry I irritated you. It irritated me that as a professional, you had to use the F-bomb. It wasn't necessary. Apter emphasized, that the response from McAfee wasn't the issue, but rather the language he used to say, Bill, with all due respect, I didn't appreciate what you said. Something like that. That's fine. But he's probably a great and classy guy too. Maybe it's a generational thing, but the F-bomb bothers me. It truly does. Beyond cursing, Apter was upset that McAfee only responded to the critical tweet, as he mentioned he praised his work before. Yeah, dude, I think that's just the locker room talk, but at the same time, Opinion Haver, our own vet, says Bill and Pat working an angle. I don't think so. I think that's just, and maybe, I don't know. I don't want to say Pat doesn't know who Apter is, because Apter is pretty legendary and Pat's a fucking long-time wrestling fan, so he would, but just for Pat to come back quick like that, maybe he's already in the bubble and like Bill Apter's a protected guy on high from everybody. Like if Bill Apter's one of those guys where if you got a problem with Bill, the problem's not with Bill, it's with you. You're the fuck face, and I got big respect for McAfee too. So I bet McAfee either doesn't know, but he probably checks the sheets and of what he did. And it just might've been a quick, like, oh, fuck you. Da, 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 da. But I don't know that it seems like a miscommunication. And I bet McAfee would feel real bad if he realized that he just like kind of told wrestling's grandfather to fuck off, but when you get in the wrestling bubble, strange things happen, and Bill also being that grandfather of the journalist side of this stuff, he is in that 70s, the 80s, where if you say fuck to somebody they're still kind of like, oof, like that's a stiff, shot, to tell somebody to fuck off, as opposed to what it might mean to a 2021 generational person. So a bad look there kind of for everybody is, and Bill's going to come back because he's smart. And Bill's not a supreme worker trying to get anything right, but he'll wear his heart on his sleeve and use that empathy as a baby face to get sympathy and probably drive McAfee to have to apologize where they have a buddy moment and Bill gets a good interview out of it. So Bill knows that he's a supreme baby face and how to work that. And I bet his feelings were slightly hurt, but I could go for more of McAfee sitting on Cole's head every week. That's what I'm about it. So, yeah, man, we're going to wrap it up here because I'm going to go to breakfast, get my shit in. I got plenty of other stuff going down. Hopefully RBV got laid, big time laid last night, and he's sleeping it off. And we'll see what's going down for the rest of the week. Tomorrow, big day at Russo Brand, taping your Raw and SmackDown review. Hopefully soon we'll only have to do 2 hours of Raw review, but that's just the way things are right now. It's hurting everybody. And with last week's super low numbers, what was it? The lowest non-holiday Raw of all time. Only Memorial Day earlier in this year was lower. It was like a 1.57. I think Memorial Day was like a 1.5. There has to be drastic changes made, man. And going to Chappelle's show ain't gonna fucking do it, yo. But I see you guys in the chat. Appreciate you guys being 44 strong and long here this morning. I will be coming back to New Jersey, Toms River, New Jersey on July 17th for Titan Championship Wrestling, July 31st. I am in Rome, New York at Immortal Championship Wrestling with GGP. Should be great. And then day right after that, I'm in Messina, New York. We're going to go up there and check out that Bigfoot sighting place, but that's New Breed Wrestling. And then the 26th of August, I'll be in Indiana with RBV at the Catalina Wine Mixer. Hopefully he's trying to get laid there too. I'm sure there'll be plenty of drunken MILFs right in his wheelhouse. I got to fly out that night for August 27th in Watervliet, New York, right outside of Albany for a huge show there with tons and tons of legends. Going to get to see my boys, The Ascension, too, so I'm really looking forward to that one. Where else? 9/11 coming to Buffalo, BCW champion to tear down Buffalo on 9/11. Should be a good time there. And then I heard the 17th is Immortal, and then back to 2CW on the 30th and October 1st. So it's hardcore. Bayville Elks been in New Jersey. That's where we're going next. Okay, in Titan on the 17th. Well, that'd be good to know. So we don't show up at the other place. But yeah, man, I'm happy to be booked and back on the road. Hopefully everything goes well, and I'll come to a town near you soon. Slap the shit out of you for $5. If I'm not on your list, then you can go to cameo.com/BenHamin. Had a good time last night as Bency Pal cutting some cameos. I like it. Jeff Lane does not live in Buffalo. Jeff Lane lives in Rochester, and he wouldn't come see my shows even when I perform there too. So, but that's how we do it, you guys. Hamin Media Group, appreciate everybody having a good time this past weekend with RBV's hot dog eating competition and everything else we got going on. Big doings around here, you guys. Just take a little time to get everything built up. So, y'all, it's Monday, Infidels, day after your Independence Day. Monday locker room solo show. HackerHamin. Yalla.